What's up, guys? The Iceman here. Um, what's best for business? Who's to say what's best for business? Yeah, well, it's within the WWE corporate management. They decide what's best for business. Well, you want to know something? Here's my thoughts. Here's my opinions. Um, and I'm going to just go back in time a little bit here because back in the days of watching NWA wrestling, um, my favorite wrestler ended up being Ric Flair, the leader of the Four Horsemen. I just loved his charisma, his attitude, um, Space Mountain, highfalutin, you know, airplane riding, the woo, Ric Flair. He was the man. He was the man back then. And I remember buying wrestling magazines, Wrestling Illustrated, Pro Wrestling, there was just so many magazines out back then. I used to buy them all the time because, back when I first started watching, there was no TV to see Ric Flair. So I remember I was working third shift. I'd buy a magazine, so when I had the opportunity, I would read through the articles, and you learned a lot about a lot of different wrestlers and a lot of different promotions, and it was fun. It was a fun time, and Ric Flair was the guy for me. He really was. I thought that there was nobody any bigger than Ric Flair. They used to compare Ric Flair with Hulk Hogan eventually, but for me, it was Ric Flair. Now, fast forwarding to the future. Um, what's best for business? Well, Triple H is good friends with Ric Flair. Triple H is good friends with Randy Orton. Triple H is good friends with Dave Batista. Triple H is good friends with the Road Dogg. Triple H is good friends with Billy Gunn. And what happened this past year? We saw every single one of them. Okay? What's best for business? Okay. What's best for business is Triple H's buddies getting involved in major storylines in the WWE. Now, Ric Flair on numerous occasions has had the opportunity to become somewhat of a major player in storylines in the WWE, but the problem is he has a problem. He has an alcohol problem. He has an attitude problem. He gets angry. He drinks. He flies off the handle, and they can't use him. So most recently, Ric Flair was supposed to be on Monday Night Raw. He wasn't there. What's best for business? He wasn't there. How many chances are you going to give a guy like this to, get the opportunity to showcase himself once again on a wrestling show, draw attention to himself, and maybe get over with the fans again? It's unfortunate too because Ric Flair was my hero back in the NWA days and the early WCW days. And I mean, you could say anything you wanted about Ric Flair, and I would fight you to the end. I mean, he was the guy. I was a Ric Flair fan. I was a Four Horsemen fan. I mean, I just loved every aspect of them in the wrestling business. And as time went on, when Ric Flair had this problem with Jim Herd in WCW, he flew to the WWE back in the early 90s. Well, was it 91, 92? He ended up, I think he won the Royal Rumble. Ric Flair was there in the WWE for a short period of time and then jumped ship again, went back to WCW. He was really a nobody in WCW after that. And until he became president of WCW in the late 90s. And but what is best for business, Triple H? That's what you always say. I quote you on that, Triple H. What is best for business? You tell me bringing a Ric Flair back on live TV, and the chances are that he's going to be intoxicated. That's best for business? I think not. I think it's time for you, Triple H, to, break ties with Ric Flair. I think it's time for everybody to, to really see what's going on with Ric Flair. Yes, he has a lot of major issues, and I feel sorry for him. And I think what he does need to do is address these issues and try to take care of them. Kurt Angle in TNA has done it. Kurt Angle's had numbers of DUIs, alcohol issues, drug issues. Kurt Angle has addressed his issues. And it's time for Ric Flair to step up and do what's best for business in the WWE. And as far as Triple H goes, do what's best for business for the WWE, because you keep on trying to bring Ric Flair back, putting him on TV. You make a fool out of yourself because Ric Flair makes a fool out of the WWE. That's not best for business. And I sit here saying this, and it saddens me for the fact that I was at one point one of the biggest Ric Flair fans ever, and I I don't want to, you know, go down and somebody's going to say, well, what do you think about Ric Flair? What I'm going to think about Ric Flair, because his great superstar days were such a long time ago. I'm going to think of Ric Flair of what he's done lately. And what he's done lately is really disgrace the wrestling business. And it's very unfortunate. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to hate me for saying this, but it's a fact. Ric Flair has just had a lot of issues, and I personally don't blame him for all of this. I blame Triple H and the WWE for trying to get him back on television, knowing that he has problems, knowing that he has issues, and knowing that there is an opportunity for Ric Flair to really mess up. And he has messed up, and it's unfortunate. So I want to remember Ric Flair as the leader of the Four Horsemen. I want to remember Ric Flair as probably at one point in time the best world heavyweight champion ever. But if he keeps on doing what he's doing, he's just disgracing his legacy. And Triple H, remember this. Is that best for business? That's your favorite byline, best for business. But you keep wanting to get Triple H on TV. You want the Ortons, you want the Batistas, you want the Billy Guns, you want the Road Dogs. Is that really best for business? That's my video for tonight, guys. And I really apologize for my negative thoughts about Ric Flair, because I truly am a big and a very huge Ric Flair fan. But that's back when Ric Flair was Ric Flair. Ric Flair was the leader of the Four Horsemen. Now it's just sad. It really is sad. And in a lot of ways, I fault Triple H for trying to get him on TV, knowing that he has issues, knowing that, he always claims, well, if he cleans up his act, we're going to bring him back to TV. But you're always taking a chance. And taking that chance is not best for business. Peace out, everybody. Have a great night.